Hello everyone, and welcome to another resume walkthrough by higherpowers.net. Today we are going over an education-based functional resume. So before we get started, you have to know what a functional resume is or what type of job seeker would use a functional resume. So a functional resume is a resume that values your skills, proficiencies, abilities over your work history. You are trying to convince the recruiter that you have the skills to do the job regardless of the actual work that you've done in the past. So maybe you've gained these skills through volunteering, education, self-taught online, whatever it may be, but you are listing the ways that you can demonstrate those particular skill sets. Okay, so this happens to be a 2-column functional resume, and right away you'll notice that there is no work history on here. So at the end of the video I'll show you guys how to add it if you want it, but this is a great resume for students, people that have gained a lot of skills and abilities either through, again, being self-taught or through their education, and also a lot of people that have maybe a checkered work history. Maybe they've had some gaps in their employment, or don't have as much employment as they would like. So again, this is just trying to get the recruiter's attention by showing them and overloading them with all your skills, and then by the time that they get down to the bottom, maybe you have 1 or 2 past jobs. Hopefully you've convinced them that they don't need to care about that because of the depth of your knowledge and the specifics of your knowledge. So let's go ahead and get started here up at the top. So as always, we have our name, an email address, telephone number, and a location. And you can also add in underneath here if you have a LinkedIn page or some other presence on the web. Okay. And this, like I said, it's 2 columns. So this is actually in a table here, and we can see I've put a border on the left side here, so you can either leave that in or take it out. And depending on how you go about filling out this section, obviously it's filled with nonsense right now, but you can change all that. You can slide this back and forth depending on your specific needs. Okay, so you can see everything is centered upon this top area here between the columns here in this table. Okay. So on this left-hand side, we have very specific technical knowledge and skills. So again, this is a good resume for people that can take advantage of that. So people in technological fields, in the medical fields, things where you're going to need to have specific skill sets. So for example, let's say you're in web design, right? All the different applications you can use, the programming languages, those all fit in here. Microsoft Office Suite, this one isn't as big of a skill set as it used to be, but again, you can replace this with whatever you need to. And again, if you wanted to get rid of some of these, let's say you don't need all of that, you can just delete them in there. Okay, so again, you can edit this to your liking, but gives you the option there on the left hand. On the right hand side, we start off with the education. So again, this is going to be for somebody who is really, the education and their skills are their high points of the resume. Again, maybe they don't have any work experience, maybe the work experience is lacking, has gaps, whatever the problem is. We want to, again, overload them with all of the positives and then kind of slide in the negative, if you want to call it that, at the end. All right, so our education here is heading 3 for the titles, as is the technical knowledge and the skills and proficiencies here. Okay, so we have Bachelor of Arts, whatever the degree is, that needs to be under the education, where you obtain the degree, the location of the school, and then some type of date or some type of quantification. So if you haven't graduated yet, maybe it's the number of courses, maybe it's a time frame, 2015 to 2017, can be an expected graduation date. So whatever is your situation, fill that into the resume here. And if you don't have as many skills and proficiencies, maybe you can talk about some of the classes that you took, some of the activities that you were involved in, anything else that you can really fill up the resume. And again, this is all going to be based on the specific job that you're applying to. So some jobs you'll have this extra bullet point if it makes sense from what they're asking about or what they're asking for. Other ones you may not have this. So again, edit to your specific profile. Okay. So underneath the education, we have our skills and proficiencies here. And underneath each of those skills and proficiencies, we have subtitles here. So these are heading 4s, the graphic design, sales, customer service, and web design. Again, your skills, your areas of proficiency will be different, so you can just change these and edit it. Maybe yours is an engineering, right? If I can spell it right. Okay. And again, you'll change the bullet points based on your particular background. Maybe in sales you only have 1 bullet point. Okay, so we can delete those, change it based on the amount of space that you need down here. Okay, so you can kind of go through that, see what fits to your liking. Now, like I said, you can add an employment section here if maybe you have 1 or 2 positions. Again, maybe it was a short-term employment, maybe you have gaps in employment, whatever the reason is where you'd like to hide or to minimize the effect of your work experience. We're going to put it down at the bottom because, again, they've gone through. We want to check as many boxes as possible from the job listing based on what they're asking for in terms of skills, proficiencies, areas of expertise. All right, so we'll get down to the bottom here, and again, let's say we've had a couple jobs, we want to put those in. So I've got it all sketched out here. So this is what it'll look like, and what we're going to do is, again, depending on how you want to fill out the resume, maybe you don't need as much customer service skills. Okay, so we'll get rid of one of those, and we'll get rid of one of these engineering skills. Okay, so we're going to bring this employment history up here, and we want to keep the amount of space consistent. So the amount of space between this heading and the last bullet point is going to be the same as the employment history heading and this bullet point here. And then just to finish this off, we're going to move this date all the way here so that it lines up with this margin here. So again, this will have the actual dates. But you'll notice under the employment history, you won't need to describe what you did at those jobs because you've already described it under its appropriate skills heading. Okay, so it's just going to be a listing. Some functional resumes actually forego even putting the dates. I like to include the dates just because you're going to have to put them up somewhere, and not including dates when you have a job and the job title and the location can kind of set off some alarm bells for recruiters. So you want to include that information if at all possible. Okay, so this is our education-based functional resume. Again, great for students, great for people that have checkered work history, whether it be gaps, short-term assignments, maybe you didn't make it past the 90 days for whatever reason. Again, you want to be able to showcase your skills and abilities without the recruiter making a prejudgment just based on your employment history. And I think this is a really good resume to do that. It's available free for download at our website, higherpowers.net. Check it out. The link will be in the video description. All right, we're going to be doing over the next few weeks a lot of these different resume walkthroughs, so check out our channel, subscribe, and have a great rest of your day.